oh, hi. Yeah, you don't go, hi, welcome back. Like, Jesus.
Hey, take this one, sunshine. Boom. Dude, like, I've been in the industry so long, man, and I've spoken to a few people from Queensland wrestling in here, bro. And I actually recorded one just the other night with Mitch Ryder that's going to be coming out.
Hey,
and
love Mitch.
Yeah, he was kind of telling me he's like, yeah, the scene was kind of like in Queensland was a bit seedy for a while, and then it sort of a little bit. And
it's really crazy, man. Like when I started wrestling in Queensland, there was one Fed. There was literally only one Fed in all of Queensland. That was WCW Australia, MIW, IPW.
Yeah.
And then, myself and Mason Child started PWA Queensland in 2007. And, 2007 to 2010, man, it was like, in my opinion, the golden age of Queensland wrestling, because we had the Rise of the Warriors tournaments. We were doing massive shows, bringing out international talent like, Chris Hero, Shadow Phoenix, and all these other guys, and also had people from every state coming and working our shows like Damian Slater, Jag, all these amazing workers. And then there was, what I call the dark times, where from 2010 to 2013, 14 is where shit just went rotten in Queensland wrestling. It was bad, man. Like, to the point that I packed my bags and I moved to WA. Like, I got to that point where I hated pro wrestling. I hated what had happened to Queensland wrestling and the stigma that was starting to build. And I moved to WA, man. It took working with guys like David Storm, Jared Slate, and working over in EPW and Schwa and NHP Dub to relight my fire and regain a perspective on pro wrestling. And then the rebuilding phase of Queensland. And it was weird, man. Like from 2000, I'm going to say probably 2015 to 2018, Queensland wrestling would be like up, something would happen. And then it was like, and it's so wild, man, that there were times where shit was going so well, things were going great, everyone was working together, and then some sort of incident would happen, something would just derail the whole state. And at one point, man, there was 11 feds in Southeast Queensland.
Jesus.
Yeah, dude. Like, no word of a lie. So, you had between Gold Coast and Sunshine Coast, there was 11 different companies in Queensland.
That's insane.
All using the same guys, either people that had a falling out of a promoter and I'm off to start my own company. Like, it was crazy, man. And then AWA sort of came along and started doing Grindhouse and the 18 plus side of shows and all that sort of stuff, and it was building up, and then again it would just crash, and I don't get it. And then the last sort of obviously COVID wrecked a fair bit of the Australian wrestling scene, and everyone's rebuilding and getting back into the swing of things, and you've seen some amazing things happen in the last sort of 12, 18 months with Aussie wrestling. And I think Queensland's finally getting back to that stage now when you've got companies like Wide Bay Pro Wrestling and Pro Wrestling League, just killing it with these really well-run shows in good venues and with a great core of guys, as well as people behind the scenes who are not just marks with money in their pockets who are like, I'm going to be a wrestling promoter. Yeah. Like, they actually are working. Yeah, man. And it happens. And it's so good to see guys coming up and just smashing at the moment. So guys like Mitch Ryder, Tim Hayden, Bobby Bishop, Rick Riley, all these great guys who have been working so hard in Queensland to get their name out there and rebuild the scene. And they are, and they're putting the work in there. They're going to training. They're going to training camps in different states. And that was a big thing that was missing in Queensland wrestling, was a decent training school. We had the PWA dojo from 2007 2010, and then from 2010 to I think 3 Count opened in 2019 2020. there was no actual Queensland wrestling training school other than the sweatshop down on the Gold Coast. And it was like people were just like training on show days, and you just can't do that. Like it's and I'm so grateful for people like Bobby Bishop and Lucille getting 3 Count up and running, and having a legitimate training school with great trainers in guys like Rufio, Mark Davis when he's here, and others. And you've also got a great bunch of Queensland guys and girls who are working so hard to show this other states, hey, Queensland wrestling's back. They're putting in the work. They're bringing in the numbers. And people are really starting to notice it now. And especially like guys like Queenslanders are getting booked in different states on big shows. Like, it's so good to see, man. And it's great that people are trying to, I don't want to say right the wrongs, but fix what went wrong in Queensland wrestling in that last sort of 5 to 10 year period. And there's definitely been a lot of changes with like promoters, bookers, and all that sort of stuff. But then you've got really great guys like Todd Eastman, who is putting in the work with Wide Bay and making it a really great company. And like, Wide Bay used to have this horrible stigma as well, man, when it first started. People were like, Wide Bay Pro Wrestling, really? Like, and I've sat down with Anthony and all them at Wide Bay, and I said, man, I love it here. Like, I've done several of their shows now as a ring announcer and helping their guys, but they also have learned and grown from those mistakes. So from that very first show in the rain, in a soccer field, cricket field, whatever it was, they've put in the work, man. And that's a great thing to see. Like, and, they're getting the rewards of all their hard work. So, it's really cool to see. And especially like, I haven't had an in-ring match since November 2019. I've done appearances in the ring and stuff like that, but it's so good to see the guys that I helped train back in 2014, 2015 when I came back to Queensland, that they're absolutely killing it now. That's cool. So it's awesome, man.
Dude, it definitely is, man. Like, I think that the scene there is definitely picking up. You're seeing a lot of great talent coming there. You're seeing the recognition coming from there as well. I think the 3 Count Academy is every top person I speak to, that place is getting put over. So, clearly they're doing the right things.